This could be false advertising. Can I get a couple of big whys? What are some of your big whys? Why do you do what you do? Everybody in this room does something to do with real estate. Sheila, can I pick on you because you're a pushy lender? I'll just pick it. Sheila, what's one of your big whys?
Well, family, of course, and I want to make enough money that I can do fun things with my family and pay for my family to go on trips and have great experiences.
I'm going to pick another lender, Austin. What's one of your big whys?
You caught me. I've been meeting with Johnny on a regular basis to
Uh-oh.
determine my next big. I turned 40 this year and I can't quite figure out my next why. No, yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna match. Lenders must think alike. My biggest why ever is just my life experiences, mostly spending more time with my children. I want to have that freedom, financial freedom to be able to not stress about what's happening at work too. So yeah.
Fantastic. Who else has a big why they'd like to share? Wow, no one really? Is it the same? You said the same thing. So go ahead, Juan. Catch. I'm teasing, I won't throw it at you.
All right. So my big why is that for those of you that don't know, a year ago, November, I got retired from my company. I was a IT consultant with FedEx. I'm a very good consultant. And so for a year, my daughter and I were thinking of starting something together. That didn't quite work out. And so I realized, you know what, I'm running out of money. So I better come up with something. And I talked to Susie Love, and she totally got me hooked on to starting a new career in real estate. And so, yes, I am against the timeline, but I'll tell you what, you guys, I love coming to the office every morning. I love getting dressed up, and I love helping people.
Awesome. Anyone else want to share? We talk about big whys, and you'll notice, Austin, can I drill down with you a bit? That'd be cool. I'm going to throw this at you. Ready? And then turn the mic on. Press and hold. Okay. You said you want to spend more time with your kids. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. Well,
Tell me about your kids.
I've got 4 kids, 12 to 3, so pretty fun stages. Everyone who has older kids has warned me that it only gets harder and you'll spend less and less time with them.
And more money.
And more money. Yeah, it doesn't get cheaper until they go on missions. Apparently, that's the best financial plan for your children is to send them on a
Especially
mission.
if you have boys.
Especially if you have boys, yes. Well, I would argue maybe daughters. Why not daughters?
Well, what I mean is boys eat way more than girls.
Oh, yeah.
And the $400 a month
Yeah.
plan is,
Yeah, true.
you're saving money.
True. Yeah, gotcha. As far as eating, yeah, the grocery budget goes down. Perfect.
I have a daughter that wrecked 4.
I wreck plenty, so it's probably fair. Yeah, so that and so I know my little window of spending the quality time with them is as we all get older is shrinking. I feel like I thank Clay and Johnny every day of my life for getting me into the mortgage industry and doing it when they did because it gave me 10 years of a good run and we've done really well. And I think what's causing my concerns, there's this book I'm reading, it's called The Second Mountain. And the whole point of it is, hey, you feel like you reach a peak, you get to a point where you've had your career at a certain place, probably beyond wherever you thought it could be. And you realize that it's not the end of a journey. You actually find yourself back at the bottom of a valley trying to figure out your second purpose. And honestly, that's kind of where I'm at now. I like having my freedom with my kids now and finding a business purpose or a work purpose for my second why I have been struggling with.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to your kids and
Sure.
the relationships you have. Why are those important to you? And I'm going to be a 2-year-old for a second. Why are they important?
Well, they bring me incredible happiness. That's where I find my happiness. I mean, at the end of the day, that's if I summed it all up, they bring me the most joy.
Okay, that was a wonderful segue because that's really what I want to talk about today.
Okay,
is
perfect.
Let's talk happiness.
Wished I would have just said that
You
the
know?
first time.
Yeah. But isn't it true that things that matter most aren't things? Do you ever notice that? We were going to talk a little bit about governing values. We just don't have the time for it. But if you think about it, your governing values or the roles that you play in your life, I've done an exercise like this before with individuals. If you were to take out a piece of paper and just do this in your head, and you draw a circle and you put your name in the circle, inside the circle, and then draw lines off of that circle and different roles that you have. You may be a parent. Each of you are a son or a daughter. You could be a grandparent. As your hair lightens up, grandparenting could happen. Could happen. You're a driver. You all got here somehow. If you like to eat, you could be a cook. There are different roles that you have. You're a realtor. You're a lender. But as you take those different roles in life, take each one and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I? As a driver, I'm a 10. Everybody thinks that, right? Okay. As a driver, how are you? As a cook, how are you? As a father or mother, how are you? As a spouse, if you have a spouse, how are you? And rate yourself 1 to 10. And again, sometimes figuring out the roles that we play in life are a way to help us define and find our deepest values, the things that matter the most to us. But the one thing about each of you, now we've talked about the things that you do. I want to talk about you in the middle. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself? 1 to 10. How would you rate yourself? What number came to mind? And if that number is not 10, I want you to cross it out and put a 10 in there. Because I have it on really good authority that everyone here is a 10. Now, doesn't mean we always act like it. May not be our best selves, but we're a 10 because we're made by, I believe, a loving God. And I have it on really good authority. God don't make no junk. That you guys are 10s. But unless you see yourself as that, you can't be that 10 in any other thing until you understand who you are and all that. So this happiness thing is a huge deal. So I hope that I come off happy. There are times I'm sure I'm a grump. My wife, my boss, I think she's related to Job somehow because she's extremely patient. She deals with a lot. But give me some quick definitions of happiness. I have some written down, but what is happiness? Fulfillment, good word. What else? Peace, okay. Just sign language. Sometimes my hearers don't work that well. They're big, they just don't hear well. What else? Contentment and all that. Let me read you some of these things that I got here. Happiness is a state of well-being and contentment, influenced by emotions, thoughts, and life circumstances. Now, what's going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week for many people that care? March Madness. Okay, there's sports. Come on, it's just funny. Why is it there are certain individuals in here that immediately go right to March Madness and others don't? Is March Madness happiness, or is that really more of a diversion? Honestly, because now if your team goes all the way and wins the championship, that may be cool. There are some people that like a particular local university think 1984 is a big deal. Okay, it's also the year I graduated from college, but that's another thing. But there are things that can bring us quick spurts of happiness. But I think happiness is enduring. It's something longer. It's the long game, not the short game. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm going to change slides on us real quick. Factors that influence it. Interesting. Genetics and personality. Have you met people they're always happy? Have you met people that there's always a dark cloud hanging over them? Have you been both of those people? Okay. Um, there may be genetics and characteristic styles, if you will, but I promise you, nothing is static. It doesn't always stay the same. You can improve whatever situation you're in. Life circumstances. What are some circumstances that could affect your happiness? Nice and loud. Death. For some people, though, is that a happy thing or a sad thing? The left behinds certainly are going to feel it, but death can be a blessing. Yeah, caretakers might there may be some relief on that. So yeah, it could be. What other circumstances are there that could? How about your wealth? We do a lot of wealth building. Debt could be a factor. Um, I will tell you when we wrote a check for our last home, that is really freeing. That is really awesome. When you get to that point, you go, that's kind of fun. Because I have a $175 HOA. That's it. That's really fun. But yeah, level of debt. What other things? Yeah, personal choices. Yeah. Yeah, you get to choose. So there are options out there. What other circumstances could affect it? I've got my fun lists. Wealth, relationships, and health contribute, but they don't guarantee happiness. True? I mean, why is it? And again, this is just me. Again, we talked about one of the things that are most important are our relationships. People that have vast amounts of wealth, why is it they go through relationships like changing clothes? Because they're not happy. They haven't figured out that happy comes from inside, not from out. Anyway, fun stuff. Um, Engaging in activities that bring joy. Now, this is fun stuff. Hobbies, creativity, and passions help cultivate a sense of fulfillment. So, what do you do when I love this question. This is something I heard in a Franklin seminar a million years ago when I worked for that company, a consulting company. If you are what you do, like, what do you do? I'm a realtor. I help people buy, sell, and get rich by investing in real estate. Well, that's awesome. But if you are what you do, what are you when you don't? If you are what you do, what are you when you don't? I was you said a technical consultant, a computer consultant. Now you're not. Now what are you? You're still consulting, but you're still John. And I want you guys to kind of, in some ways, separate what you do to who you are. And that's kind of that circle again, all the different roles that you play in life and who you are, because that's where your happiness is ultimately going to come from. Okay, moving on. I love this particular quote. One of my mentors, the joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives. Love that quote. Gosh, there's a bold law that talks about that. What's the bold law? What you focus on expands. I am doing my best not to focus on my navel. Okay. Practices for enhancing happiness. Sorry. Um, Gratitude and mindfulness. Who here does things to try and increase or enhance their mindfulness? So do you may have habits? What habits? Give me a habit. They're just reminders. Yeah. That's awesome. Do some, now I again, didn't want to take the time to do it in here. There's a YouTube channel called 5 Minute Meditations because that's about as much as I can take of meditation. But I literally do that every morning before I get into my day. I'll sit down and do a 5 minute meditation. They'll focus on breathing, focus on centering yourself as you move on during the day. Wonderful stuff to get your mind moving. Reading, and again, go back to the MREA book, right? Gary talks about what are some of the habits supposed to do every morning. You wake up, if she's a meditation or reading, exercise, fuel, food. I think, didn't you say hugs and kisses? Yeah, love. And then get to work all before noon. Get those big rocks done during the day. Building strong relationships in here. Meaningful connections with friends, family, and community create lasting happiness. It's those relationships again. And then engage in activities, activities that, again, bring joy. Does anybody here not have challenges? Raise them high. No? Oh, okay. Because we do. So we talk about managing stress and adversity. What are some of your favorite things to manage stress? What things really help you to not be stressed out? Go ahead. Okay, so you self-medicate. Okay, there you go. Chocolate chip cookies, awesome. Go ahead. Okay, so you do balance each other out. Okay. Sprats, right? The Sprat family. Never mind. And then I love this last one. There'll be some notes that'll be coming in the emails, so make sure you get the emails. So, but cultivating resilience and optimism, I love that too. I love the word resilience. Do you ever notice a kid when they fall down, they may cry, but then what do? They get back up and keep doing it, right? As adults, when we fall down, oh, that doesn't work. If I cold call somebody or if I call somebody and they're having a really bad day and they take it out on me, that means everybody's going to be having a bad day whenever I call. True? Of course not. And yet we act like that's true. Anyway, be careful on that. But I love this, learning to reframe negative experiences and growing from setbacks. Again, somebody give me an example of reframing. How do you reframe something? Give me something negative that happens in your world as a pushy realtor. What's something negative? Say again. Oh, canceled contract. So what's a good clean four-letter word you can use when somebody cancels? N-E-X-T. Next. Right? I said a clean four-letter word. And maybe some people say good is something different. Sorry. But did that just change the way you thought about it when I just said next? Like, hey, babe, we're going to get a better offer. I believe it was Diana Kokoska was talking about, she was driving with her husband down the road on the freeway. This car from the left lane cuts them off all the way in the middle lane, exits the freeway and takes off. And her husband was cursing, that guy's a jerk. He's a terrible driver. And road rage was happening in his mind. And she said, maybe he was taking his pregnant wife who's in the late stages of labor to the hospital. And he was rushing to get her there and he just missed you. And he looked at her and she said, what? I like my story better. Reframing is a wonderful and a powerful tool if you'll do it. Again, another bold law, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. Anyway, I love this. That cultivates, again, that resilience. Very briefly, physical exercise and nutrition. Does anybody here, I know that Emil was talking about his exercise routines. Tell me about your exercise routines really fast. I'm sorry, every day? Okay, so 6 days a week, you're out there working. Okay. About half hour a day. Every morning when it's decent, I'm either walking for about an hour or I'm riding my bike into the office because it does a couple of things for me. One, I'm hoping that it will help my physical health. I want to live to see my grandchildren grow up, but it also helps my mindset because I'm able to think and do things. And obviously you can double up on the time. You can listen to podcasts. You can listen to uplifting things that will build you. Anybody here struggling with sleep, even with new babies in the house, that can be a struggle, right? Does sleep affect your mood? I would really focus on things that can help your sleep patterns and all that, measuring them. I've been wearing my silly smartwatch, and sometimes I think it's dumb because it tells me that my energy score is at, 60 today. I'm like, no, I'm better than 60. But there are all kinds of wearables now, right? You have the rings, watches, and some people hook themselves up to machines so that they can measure their sleep patterns because it makes a difference in how you feel and your happiness. And then mindset, growth mindset, finding purpose. Wanted to share one last quote, and we'll finish up a couple of minutes early. Came from a presentation by a church leader of mine, and it doesn't matter your faith tradition, because he was quoting a study that was done across the country. It says, growing evidence highlights this striking fact. Religious believers are on average happier, healthier, more fulfilled than those who without spiritual commitment or connection. Happiness and life satisfaction, mental and physical health, meaning and purpose, character and virtue, close social relationships, even financial and material stability, on each measure, religious practitioners flourish. They enjoy better physical and mental health, greater life satisfaction across all ages and demographic groups. Dang, go to church. Again, I don't care where you go to church. I would say do it. Just for that reason alone, it makes a difference. So I appreciate you taking time and just encourage you to don't worry, be happy and all that. Anyway, thanks. And again, thank you very much thanks for Silverback. So tell us what we got. Panda Express.